The F4 of Septimont, Augusta, is finally here in Wuthering Waves. And if you're looking to add another DPS to your roster that also buffs herself and teammates, she's going to be great. So if you've been looking for a guide on Augusta, you came to the right video. I'll be covering what materials you need, a full kit breakdown, damage rotation, and everything you need to make a good build. We have a lot to cover, so let's not waste any time and dive right into it. If you're debating on pulling for Augusta, her strengths do include being an excellent Electro DPS. Obviously, we have characters like Zhang Liao and Colcharo, but Augusta is unique in the fact that, number 2, she provides self and team buffs plus shields. I don't know of any main DPS character that provides shields for themselves and for teammates. And number 3, she has a time stop ability that halts everything in game, including timers for things like Tower of Adversity and Whimpering Wastes. For Augusta's combat roles, she falls under a main DPS with dealing higher heavy attack damage and damage amplification on outro. And here are all the materials you're going to need to get her up to max level. The title resident material can drop from humanoid type echoes in Renacita, and we have a lot of these, different knight types, so just farm them and you'll get plenty of these materials. For the flower, we're looking for the new Luminous Calendula, which can be found in the Sanguis Plateau area using collection spots, or you can buy some weekly at the Silver Helmet store in Septimont. And for Overlord boss material, you're going to have to fight the new False Sovereign in the Sanguis Plateaus for the Blighted Crown of Puppet King. For what skills prioritize upgrading first on Augusta, definitely her Resonance Liberation, then Forte Circuit, your normal attack, then lastly you can do Resonance skill and intro skill. And here are all the materials you're going to need to upgrade all of these skills. Since Augusta is a Broadblade character, you're going to need the Wave-Worn Residue material from Forgery Challenges. Specifically, I would do the Garden of Adoration in Raguna, because this will also drop the title resident material. And for your weekly boss material, you're going to have to fight Fleur-de-Lis for the When Irises Bloom. To maximize Augusta's damage, we need to understand exactly how her kit works. Her Forte has 3 mechanics: Prowess, Ascendency, and Majesty. Prowess is the purple part of her Forte bar, and it's similar to how other Fortes work, where you do certain attacks and it builds it up. In this case, you'd use her basic attack 4, her heavy attack, her mid-air and dodge counter attacks, and also her Resonance skill, Warrior's Blade, and her intro skill will also fill it up all the way. Obviously, there's multiple combos you can do to fill up Prowess, but once it's full, you can do one of 2 attacks. The first one is Heavy Attack, Thunder Roar, Backstep, and Spin Slash. Essentially, you'll see her normal attack button start glowing. That means you can hold down for the heavy attack and then release it to do both of those attacks. Or you can perform the uppercut version of this attack, which is literally her punching upwards, and all you have to do is press your jump button, or if you use your resonance skill, all you have to do is tap your resonance skill button again to perform this attack. While you're attacking to build prowess and using those enhanced attacks, you'll notice that the circle in the middle starts filling up counterclockwise. That's Ascendency. Using any of the attacks that I previously mentioned, including the intro skill, will restore Ascendency, plus if you use her Resonance Liberation Sword of Eternal Oath, that will restore 40% of it. Now, Sword of Eternal Oath isn't her main ultimate. You can think of this as just an enhanced skill that deals a lot of damage considered heavy attack damage. You'll know Ascendency is full when that crown in the middle starts glowing. That unlocks Resonance skill Undying Sunlight. This has 3 attacks, which means you can just spam your Resonance skill button. So it has a strike attack, a leap attack, and a plunge attack, where you actually attack with the Griffix Echo. After the attack, it'll consume all Ascendency, and it will give you 1 stack of Majesty, which is the sword on the left and right of the Ascendency crown. Augusta needs 2 stacks of Majesty to use her enhanced Resonance Liberation, and again, you get 1 stack if you do the entire attack combo that I mentioned, but you also can get a stack of Majesty when Resonators in the team cast an outro skill under her outro skill effect, Battle Song of the Unyielding. The next Resonator gets the following effects for 14 seconds, which immediately end if they are switched out, so you can't really hot swap with her outro skill. It will only buff the character that you perform the intro skill with. So gain 15% damage amplification for all attributes, and casting outro skill grants 1 stack of Majesty and 1 stack of Crown of Wills. Crown of Wills gives Augusta a 15% electro damage bonus up to 1 stack, and when she uses her Resonance Liberation finisher, which I'll talk about here in a bit, it will remove all stacks. Also, I'd like to mention with her second inherent skill, when Augusta is out of combat for 4 seconds, she gains the following effects that can be triggered once every 4 seconds. If Majesty is less than 1 stack, she restores 1 stack. So if you're not in combat, you automatically get 1 stack of Majesty, so you're halfway there to the enhanced ultimate, and it fully restores Crown of Wills. While we're on inherent skills, let's talk about the first one, Glory's Favor. When Augusta deals damage, not just a specific type, any damage, she gains a shield equal to 350 plus 2.5% of her max HP for 5 seconds, triggered once every 0.5 seconds. This effect is unstackable. This shield will not be passed onto the incoming resonator. There's a reason to have the shield, and it deals with echoes, which I will talk about here in a bit. Coming back to the Resonance Liberation, once you have 2 stacks of Majesty, you can perform her enhanced Resonance Liberation called Sublime is the Sun. As you can see, the Resonance Liberation icon changes, and all you have to do to activate this is just hold your Resonance Liberation button. Once you cast it, Augusta will generate Ruler's Realm and Sworn Allegiance. With Ruler's Realm, as long as your resonators cast an intro skill within the 30-second timer, they will gain a shield based on Augusta's max HP. And Sworn Allegiance is the time stop ability that I mentioned earlier. Again, it literally stops everything on the field from moving. All timers from things like Tower of Adversity, Whimpering Waste, or just any challenge you're doing, that timer will also stop. Essentially, Augusta just aura farms in this stage. She walks slowly. She has like a teleport dodge ability, but that doesn't matter since everything is time stopped. The state only lasts 7 seconds, but you could perform up to 9 normal attacks in the state, which all deal massive damage. And whether you get all 9 attacks in or the timer just runs out, you'll end up automatically performing her Resonance Liberation finisher, Ever Bright Protector. All I gotta say is they cooked with the entirety of the animation for her Resonance. All I gotta say is that the devs cooked with her enhanced Resonance Liberation. Like the first animation, the 9 instant attacks, essentially, she basically gains instant transmission with all of those attacks. And then the finisher itself, the entire animation is just insane. Like it has its own environment for the finisher of the animation, similar to like Carlotta, obviously, but it's just insane. And the last thing on our skill trees are the stat bonuses, which include a crit rate percentage bump and an attack percentage bump. I know we covered a lot of information under the skills, so if you're still a little confused about it, let me break it down into a simple damage rotation. Number 1, whether Augusta's already out on the field or if you perform her intro skill, the main thing is gaining prowess with our attacks, which again you get by using your normal attacks, your heavy attack, your resonance skill, and again, once prowess is full, you can perform the enhanced heavy attack or the uppercut attack. Either one works. And that leads into number 2, getting Ascendency. Again, using any of your attacks, your intro skill, including your regular Resonance Liberation once it's full, all of that will build Ascendency. Once Ascendency is full, you can use the enhanced Resonance skill and summon the Griffix for those 3 attacks, which again, afterwards will give you 1 stack of Majesty. And again, the goal is to get 2 stacks of Majesty for the enhanced Resonance Liberation. Once you have it, hold down that Resonance Liberation button to proc Sworn Allegiance for the time stop, and Ruler's Realm helping you provide shields for your team. Basically just spam your normal attack button and then do the Resonance Liberation finisher. And at that point, your Concerto should be full and you can perform your outro skill, which is a general damage amplification for any character you decide to buff. For Augusta's weapon options, her signature Thunderflare Dominion is fantastic. You get a flat attack and a crit rate percentage bump. Note that the crit rate is low considering it is a signature weapon, but don't worry about that. Its perk Thunderblade's Eminence is super good. Note this is at rank 1. You get a 12% attack increase. Casting your intro or resonance skill increases heavy attack damage by 20% for 15 seconds. Obtaining shield allows heavy attack damage to ignore 7.2% of the target's defense for 7 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. This effect is triggered once every 0.5 seconds. So at rank 1, not only does she get an attack bonus, a heavy attack damage bonus, but her heavy attack damage ignores 35% of the target's defense. That's great. Another weapon that would work extremely well for her is Jian's signature Verdant Summit. You get a flat attack and crit damage percentage bump. With its perk Swordsworn, you get an attribute damage percentage bonus for any attribute. Every time you use your intro or resonance liberation, it increases your heavy attack damage by percentage, stacking up to 2 times, lasting 14 seconds. You could potentially use Jinshi's signature Ages of Harvest as well. Even Lupa's signature Wildfire Mark, they're not bad. The main thing is having the crit damage and the crit rate stats. Even then, you could use the standard 5-star sword, Lustrous Razor. If you don't have any 5-star Broadblades, the 2 4-stars from the Battle Pass are really good, and you do have some other options outside of that. I do want to talk about the new one, Aureate Zenith, because you get a flat attack and crit damage percentage bonus, which is the first 4-star of its kind. And granted, you won't be able to get it rank 5 with this perk, Oath of Tidehunters, just yet. You'll have to, go through a couple of updates if you get the Battle Pass weapons. But casting Resonance Liberation increases attack by percentage and grants a heavy attack damage bonus percentage for 15 seconds. Even the old Battle Pass Broadblade is good. Autumn Trace, you get a flat attack and crit rate percentage bump, and its perk Edge Direction, you get an attack percentage increase when you deal basic or heavy attack damage, which stacks up to 5 times. But if you don't have those ones, you can look into using Waning Redshift or the Helios Cleaver. For Augusta's best echo sets, we have the combination of the new 3-piece Crown of Valor with 2-piece Void Thunder. Now this set can drop on the 2 new 4-cost False Sovereign and Lady of the Sea, plus it can be found in the world through the Hurriclaw and this specific June Rock, but one of the easiest ways is to do the new Nightmare Tacit Field every day. Again, the specific one for Crown of Valor is in the center of the Sanguise Plateaus map. The main thing with 3-piece Crown of Valor is that upon gaining a shield, increase the Resonator's attack by 6% and crit damage by 4% for 4 seconds. This effect can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds and stack up to 5 times. This means you can get a 30% attack bonus and 20% crit damage increase. And obviously with 2-piece Void Thunder, you get the 10% electro damage bonus. The way to set this up is to have your 4-cost be the False Sovereign with either crit rate or crit damage, your 2/3 cost with electro damage, and your 2/1 cost with attack percentage. And to reiterate, it doesn't matter if your 2/3 cost are Crown of Valor or your 2/1 cost, as long as you have 3 Crown of Valor and 2 Void Thunder Echoes to get all the bonuses, you're set. The reason you want to use the False Sovereign is because as long as the Echo is in your main slot, you get a 12% electro and heavy attack damage bonus, which is perfectly catered to Augusta, and it does have 2 charges. For Echo substats, we're looking for crit rate and crit damage, heavy attack damage bonus, attack percentage, and then energy regen and flat attack. For Augusta's best team options, if you're looking for more of a free-to-play style, pairing her up with Mortefi and Baija or Verena as your healer will work just fine. Mortefi's the only character at the moment that strictly buffs only heavy attack damage, and since it's just that, he gives out a 38% heavy attack damage amplification for the incoming Resonator. So all you have to do to have the hyper carry team is just replace your healer with Shorekeeper, and now you have Augusta's best team at the moment. But take note that it's been confirmed that Yuno will beat Augusta and any other heavy attack damage character's best in slot, considering she will buff heavy attack damage. And again, yes, you can see all of this in game. Not only that, she'll buff heavy attack damage by 50%. Some other sub DPS options would be a character like Yinlin, for example, because she does buff electro damage and has the coordinated attacks. Granted, she won't be able to buff the heavy attack damage. Or you could use a character like Frolova. She has very high on-field and off-field damage with her Echo attacks and also buffs heavy attack damage. Granted, the rotation will be slower for Augusta, but again, that team will work. The last thing I want to talk about is Augusta's Resonance Chain, and is it worth getting multiple copies of her? S1, Stained in Scorched Earth. Each stack of Crown of Wills additionally increases Augusta's crit damage by 15%, plus now you can have 2 stacks of it, and your intro skill now provides 1 stack, plus your resonant skill attacks with the Griffix are now immune to interruption. S2, Cleansed in Crimson War. Crown of Wills provides additional effects. Each stack increases Augusta's crit rate by 20%. For every 1% of crit rate over 100, Augusta gains 2% crit damage increase up to 100. This means you're incentivized to go over that 100 crit rate to get even more crit damage. S3, Forged in Rot and Ruin. Essentially, a lot of her skills gain a 25% damage multiplier. S4, Ascent in Sun and Glory. Catching your intro skill increases the attack of all Resonators in the team by 20% for 30 seconds. S5, Unshaken in Wrathful Tides. The shield provided by her inherent skill is increased by 50%. And lastly, S6, Engraved in Radiant Light. We have a long description here. Augusta can have 4 stacks of Crown of Wills. For every 1% of crit rate over 150%, Augusta gains 2% crit damage increase up to 50%. When Augusta performs her enhanced heavy attack, she obtains 2 stacks of Crown of Wills. Augusta can only obtain both of these stacks every 1 second via Engraved in Radiant Light, which is S6. While casting these enhanced heavy attacks, Thunder Rage is triggered at the spot, dealing 2 instances of electric damage, with each instance equal to 100% of Augusta's attack considered heavy attack damage. All 6 are relatively good. Granted, S5 is the weakest out of the bunch, but even stopping at S1 or S2 will make your Augusta hit like a truck. Basically, having S1 and S2 provide even more crit rate and crit damage for her kit inherently is fantastic. The damage multiplier from S3 is nice. The main thing with S4 that I like is that it's a flat attack increase, not a specific damage or elemental type, which means it's pretty much going to be good for any team that you use with Augusta. And obviously S6 just makes her absolutely broken, just like with any other limited characters, S6. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Augusta build guide and kit breakdown. I already knew I was going to pull for Augusta back in 2.4 when she was introduced, and even though I have You know, Zhang Liao and Colcharo built fairly well, and they're both Electro DPS. Just Augusta's animation and the sheer amount of damage and just buffs that she gives herself and the team is so nice. Plus, she kind of falls under the Frolova and Chun-Li, where they're a main DPS that also buffs. And with Yuno coming out in the second half of this update, which is her perfect best in slot, who's also a healer, which means we don't necessarily need to use Shorekeeper. Granted, I'll have to do some testing, but I'm very excited to test out more of her team comms outside of what we have right now. Let me know how your Augusta pulls are going in the comments, or if you decide to pull for Carlotta or Shorekeeper, which are both fantastic characters as well. If you're a new player, I feel so bad for you because the banners are literally stacked this time around. And let me know if you're going to be pulling for Yuno in the second half of this update. In any event, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on any other Wuthering Waves content we have coming out here on the channel. If you didn't know, we live stream here on YouTube and then also over on Twitch. That link will be in the description. I typically stream Wuthering Waves whenever we have a new update, there's a new event, or a new banner is out, and usually there's always drops available as well, so if you want some extra materials, be sure to tune on into the stream. Also, if you want to join my community, hop in my Discord. That link will also be in the description. We have plenty of people talking about Wuthering Waves, other gacha games, and then plenty of other topics including gaming, tech, and anime. Lastly, if you want to help support the channel even more, you can look into becoming a member. Now, if you don't know what a membership is, it's essentially like a Twitch subscription, but it's technically cheaper. You're going to gain access to exclusive emotes, monthly badges, and the main benefit, which is getting access to all of my long form videos early. So if you would like some more information, all you have to do is press the join button next subscribe, and I'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next video.